Welcome everyone in this new live development video about auto chess. In this video we're not going to touch the project, we're going to talk about the scope and what system we will build and stuff like that. So for now this video is like in the middle of the series, but when the series over I will make like an overview video. It will be the first of the series. So if you're following the series and I've already seen that overview video, you can skip that video. But if you don't, if you're following the series right now with me live when it's not over, it might be interesting to you to know what we're going to do. So there will be like two videos like this using that document. This is a document I built to kind of organize the series, so to have some kind of a cleaner organization. So usually I do that on pen and paper and only for me, but for the purpose of that live development series I made it online just so you can take a look at it with me. So regarding the scope of the live development, what do I want to do? I want to do like full game loop from menu to end game screen. So, and that includes several stuff which you can see there. I'll let you pause the video if you want, because I'm going to talk about them right now when it comes to production order. So what are we going to build and in what order? So for now the order I have in mind is the first thing we need to do is to build some kind of multiplayer lobby and joining logic, because it involves lots of initialization and setup system which are going to lead the rest of the things we program, in the sense that they are going to drive the initialization logic of all our other systems. So I think we need to do that first. And then we're going to take care of what happens when you reach the in-game the actual game after the menu and stuff like that. So setting up the player base, setting up the unit pool to draw units from and stuff like that, phase management and income. And then we're going to take care of coding our shop and how we can interact with our bench, how we can purchase unit and stuff like that. Then the combat system, where it's going to be kind of fancy because we're going to build some kind of ability system which are going to allow us to make custom abilities however we want. So you're going to be able to create abilities. It's going to be modular enough so you can create abilities which I do not create live on this tutorial. So I think you're going to love it. And we're going to build some kind of stat system so we can grab the attack speed, the damage, the health of our units. A status system so we can buff our units at runtime, and some kind of faction system. But I'm not going to go over everything, I'm just going to continue now. So and once we have some kind of combat management and different type of attacks, we're going to tie that to the AI, and we're going to see how we handle the movement of our units so they don't get stuck like you would see in our current game. They are being stuck when they are close to each other. So we're going to try to fix this, and we're going to try to make to make a decent AI for our auto chess game. And then we're going to take care of the game systems. What do we see on screen? How you lose, how you win, how we handle all of that in multiplayer using the round history and stuff like that. And then if I still have a lot of motivation and stuff like that, we might dive in the heroes system. So having some kind of hero on the battlefield and with some kind of equipment which buffs his stat. So I hope we're going to do all of this. That's kind of the goal I set for myself. So I hope you'll bear with me for the duration of the live development. But before you continue to dive in, I wanted to talk about the different problems we're going to encounter, the cons, the pros and the cons of of this live development. So the pros is that we're going to build some kind of game kinda quickly, so it's going to be fun to see the results, and it's going to be easy to develop, I believe. And the cons are the following. So it's going to be only developed for the listen server, so one of the players is going to be the server. If it doesn't mean anything to you, if you don't understand what I'm saying about listen server, it kind of means that not all players are going to be equals in terms of gameplay. The server is going to see more instantly what's going on, when the clients are going to have some kind of delay. It also means that you might not be able to set up the game the way you want it to set it up. It's going to work for me because I want to develop this game so we can play on a local area network at my studio, at my game development studio. So it might not correspond to what you want. And the other problem is that it's not going to be cheater proof. So if you're planning on making some kind of game online and you're planning on having a community of people you don't know, they're not going to accept that fact, and some of them might be cheating. So I don't care about that problem since I want to play at work, but it might be bothering you. And there is going to be another problem tied to multiplayer, is that the code we're going to make is not desync proof, which means we can end up with seeing different things on clients and on server, and it means seeing different things as a client. It means seeing different things than what really happens. So one of the example could be one unit hitting another, whereas on the server it hits another unit. So it won't create gameplay desynchronization because we're going to base all of our gameplay logic on the server actions, but it might be misleading for client players seeing such desync. Another example could be wonder what if we had a unit buffing other units. You might see on clients, you might see unit A being buffed, whereas it's not buffed on server, so actually it's not buffed, and the client see it buffed. So that might be another problem we see when it comes to desync. Another problem is that we're going to build some kind of local save system, which means if you have a public game, your players will be able to tamper with their save game files, which means they'll be able to cheat one way or another. For example, if we store the win and death values of our player locally, your players are going to be able to modify these values and make it so, for instance, they make it so they have 500 wins and no lose, for instance, and other stuff like that. And another cons is that it's full blueprint, so this means it's not going to be that much optimized compared to developing in C++, but it's going to be much faster. And the last cons is that it's on-the-fly development, so it might be boring from time to time. I might be going too fast. It's not really a tutorial, but you've already seen that. But we have some kind of pros because actually you're going to overview lots of different stuff regarding the Unreal Engine when it comes to multiplayer, animation, widgets, and stuff like that. So it's behavior trees. So we are really covering a lot of subjects because building a game requires to handle many different fields at a time. So you're going to see to overview kind of all of these things. So as you can see, I have some other stuff on these documents, but we're not going to review that on this video. Actually, we can review some kind of the session structure. So how is the game going to evolve? What are the different the different parts we have to handle when it comes to managing the game systems? So we're just going to review that real quick. So at first you have so put yourself at the place of a player. I'm launching the game. I arrive at the game menu. Then I want to create or join a lobby. Then I'm in a multiplayer lobby and I'm with other players, so I can see their name, their ready status, their color and team, stuff like that. And then one way or another, the multiplayer lobby is going to start. So we're going to map switch to switch from the out-game map to the in-game map. So we're going to see some kind of loading. And then we're going to enter the game. So we have to see the other players, we have to see like the score screen, so who are the other players, their hero, their health, and we have to see our battlefield, so we're going to need to set it up, to set it all up. And then we're going to do some kind of hero selection, so we're going to recruit an unit which is an hero. We might be skipping that phase because it's really dependent on the game design I plan it to do for the game I want to make, but it's not necessarily tied to what you want to make. And then we're going to go, so the hero selection is like a recruitment phase actually, so we end up in the game and then we can recruit units. We might do some kind of ghost army. So it will be, it's a system I want to do for my game design. We might not be doing this. The idea will be that you can have some kind of overview of the army of the player you're going to face. The last time you saw the army of the player you're going to face. And then we'll have some kind of income and resource management. It's going to, so this is how actions are going to be following up by each other. So opponent's army appearing, we receive our income, the units of our shop are being refreshed, then we can handle the placement, experience, purchase, etc. of our base, and then we can reroll as well, and then time's over, we enter a combat phase. We have to rotate the player camera to the battlefield, we have to teleport all of its units. We have to start the combat, then units are going to fight using abilities, health, mana, etc. We can lose health at that time if all of our units die. We have to keep track of how the different matches are going on. Then the combat ends when all units are dead, when we have a winner in each combat. Then we have to check for remaining players. If there's only one, we are going to victory phase and we skip the rest of the actions. So if lots of players are still in place, we're going to return and revive all of their units to base. We're going to teleport back their camera and we're going to go back to recruit phase. But if we have only one player remaining, we're going to win, so we're going to display an event for everyone, we're going to display a victory screen, and on the contrary, if we die, we're going to display an event for everyone to tell that some player died, and we're going to tell the player that it died, so we will need some kind of defeat screen. And maybe we'll do some kind of post-game lobby where we have some kind of game recapitulation. And I have other stuff in my bag on this document, but we're not going to review this on that video because there is a lot to process in that video. So I think I maybe had something else to tell you about, but I'm not sure. I think that's okay. We're going to go. We're going to build the game following that order. The order might be changing during the process of the creation because we never know what can happen and how some systems are tied up to each other. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that video. Hope you guys enjoyed it and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.